especially because I have you here, I wanted to try and follow one of our last remaining Zerg players here in this tournament.
I appreciate it.
I remember
after the PvP fest.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I remember last time I had you on, we just had PvP after PvP.
Yeah, exactly.
Why don't you take it away?
All right. Well, spawning in the bottom left, the last Zerg hope of the tournament, playing for a freak of freaks. It is the blue Zerg Armani.
And spawning in the top right hand corner of 2000 Atmospheres LE, we have the Korean Terran player representing Storm Gaming. It is GuMiho.
Oh, I'm so excited for this series light. I've been watching GuMiho very closely the last few months, and it's amazing the comeback he's made, honestly.
Oh yeah, he's actually been getting some surprising results recently.
Yeah, I remember when he just came back, he was like, around 6k, he wasn't really putting up amazing results. And I thought that maybe his mech style had just like completely gone out of fashion and wasn't viable anymore, but now he's taking big names like almost every week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's great to see him performing well. It's one of those things where I kind of feel bad for GuMiho just because he's kind of like the forgotten GSL champion. Like,
wait, he won a GSL?
Yeah, you're like, wait, what?
What?
He won a GSL. He won a GSL while he was on Storm as well. It wasn't like an older Kesper era GSL win or anything like that. So like, he's a good player, but like when people think of the top Terrans, like they mention others and not as much GuMiho.
Yeah, I always remember when people talked about the Four Horsemen, like GuMiho was sort of part of that, just to a bit of a lesser extent. There was kind of like the Five Horsemen for a little bit.
Yeah.
But GuMiho was the forgotten about strong Terran.
Yeah, it was like let's go boys, it's the Four Horsemen and GuMiho.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh god. But yeah, hopefully he's able to return to form. Like, he's also another player who, I mean, he's ex-military now, he came back from the military, he's back to competing, and he's also looking pretty good.
Yeah. Oh, this is so funny. The first Marine of GuMiho went out to snipe this Overlord, but Armani actually sent his second Overlord next to the main, not the first. If he'd sent the normal Overlord patterns, it definitely would have gotten sniped by the first Marine. But in this case, since the Marine went around it because it was a bit too slow, the Overlord actually might survive.
Yeah, it's so close. It looks like maybe it just barely. Oh god, up.
Yeah, it's gonna live.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the scary thing about this map with the Overlord rallies is there is actually no Overlord pillar until the one that Armani is at right now. For the entire map, there is not a single one. So that's why Marine first openings are so strong.
Yeah. Oh, but Armani knew that, so a little bit of mind games going on. He was aware of the potential for that, and he just barely keeps his Overlord alive. So, yeah, really cute play there from Armani.
Yeah, very smart. I'm sure he did that intentionally because Marine first is so common on this map to snipe that Overlord. So just delaying it a tiny bit to dodge the Marines. Yeah, very, very smart play.
Exactly. Oh, meanwhile, behind this, we do have a 1-1-1 opener, so no fast start CC from GuMiho or anything like that. Not necessarily alluding that we may see a similar game from Special, but there's a lot that GuMiho can do, right? He can go for a 2-base all-in, or he can just get that 3rd base a little bit later.
Yeah, this is a very interesting build. It looks like it's just going to be a single medevac drop of Marines. There's a tech lab on the factory, which makes me think that he might start a tank, but I don't really see where his build is going to go from there. It looks like it's going to be a light pressure.
Yeah. I've seen Beyond do this before as well, where you like go across the map with stimulus Marines, and you just saw that. You just do whatever you can. The Overlord dips in, and the Overlord does confirm, or did see the factory and the starport.
Yeah, very interesting. He's skipped the Hellion production, so he's given Armani a lot of map control, but Armani actually really overmade Lings in the early game since his Overlord was so far out, it couldn't see the Hellions leaving the natural of GuMiho if there were any. So he had to overmake Lings to be safe against a Hellion run-by, which is really not what you want here. If Armani had map hacks, he would have just made 0 Lings this whole game and made only drones.
So in a way, because of his lack of vision, he inadvertently got worker damage done in a way, where GuMiho did force a bunch of Lings.
There was like a 30-second window from 4 minutes where GuMiho was actually ahead in workers, which is really not meant to be the case. So yeah, GuMiho's greed paying off.
Oh my god. And also some really great control there as well, just individually picking up some of the weakened Marines, trying to trade as best he can, keeping all of these links busy, and you know, trying to pick off whatever he can, including the Overlord if possible. And behind this is actually throwing down an Armory. Oh my god.
Wow, that's very interesting. It looks like he's going to go for a follow-up Stim Hell Battle then. This is very common after normal openers, or especially with 2-1-1, where you just, instead of the normal just double medevac of Marines that people usually expect, there's a bunch of Hellbats, so you need Banelings morphed, or a Baneling Nest at least. And at this stage, Armani does have the Baneling Nest, so he's going to be safe against this, but he's going to have to identify it with a Ling Scout.
Yeah, exactly. He does have a Link patrolling the third base. He does barely catch wind of a couple of medevacs coming across the map, which could be a little bit of a tell. But again, he hasn't seen the Armory. He hasn't seen the Hellions either, and it doesn't have a lot of creeps right out here either.
Yeah, this push is really scary if you don't see the Hellbats coming in advance, because you need to morph the Banelings now. But GuMiho can just start pouncing on Queens. They've actually walked off creep because of the pathing.
Oh my god, 3 Queens are going to go down immediately. Finally, we have 10 Banelings on the way, but as you were saying, these Banelings are so late.
Yeah, if he had seen the Hellions coming straight across the map, he could have morphed them in advance and this defense would have been so much easier. But since GuMiho dodged the Ling Scouts, Armani was completely blindsided.
Oh, exactly. Some of the Banelings are going to connect. They do connect with the Hellbats of all things, but that's it. That's okay. No, there are 2 more Banelings.
Yeah, it looks like Armani might have enough to clean this up, but good target fire from GuMiho kills all the Banelings. And all the Queens are going down.
Oh my god, every single Queen falls. That is it. That is every single Baneling as well. We do have 28 Lings on the way, but the damage has already been done.
Yeah, this is really the last thing you'd expect. It's almost like a 2-base timing with a 3rd CC. GG.
GG. The 3rd CC really threw me off, and I'm sure that also kind of threw Armani off as well. That's why, like, he was in the middle of throwing down double Evo chambers. He even made a wave of drones before the push happened as well.
Yeah, that build order is so smart, honestly. Because you skip the Hellions, you have the money to drop the 3rd CC much earlier than normal. The 2nd and 3rd racks much earlier than normal. So you're giving up your map control in order to hit a really strong timing. As I said, Armani overmade Lings in the early game, so it put him a little bit behind, and he didn't see the Hellions coming across, so he just couldn't morph Banelings in time.
Yeah, it was also really unlucky that at the time, like, the Queens were caught off creep as well, so like 3 Queens died immediately. It's like, maybe that could have been part of the difference between winning and losing. I don't know.
Yeah, it feels really common on these maps for that to happen. Like, a lot of the pathing just happens to go between the normal creep pathways, so you have to tell the Queens to go in a specific, like Berlingrad, another example of a map where this can happen.
Oh boy, speaking of, here we go. We are diving into Berlingrad LE, game number 2 of this series, and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, the Zerg hope of today's tournament. Down in this series, can he bring it back, or is this the end of our Freaka Freaks player? It is Armani.
And spawning in the top left corner of Berlingrad, it is the meching Terran, showing us that that's not all he knows how to play, and he can pull out some pretty crazy mind games. It's Psystorm Gaming's GuMiho.
Oh boy, that was a scary game.
Yeah. And honestly, I've never seen a build like that before, but now that I think about it, everything that he did makes so much sense. It's in a way so weird, but on the other hand, it's so brilliant.
Yeah, like just the denying of vision, you know, the way that he was able to utilize his resources, not wasting them or not spending them on those Hellions early on. Yeah, it was very smartly done, and yeah. I don't know if Armani has seen that build before or not, and I know I haven't. Damn.
Yeah, I wonder if that's almost a reaction to that map specifically. If you send the Overlord in that pattern next to the main base, you actually can't see Hellions leave the natural.
True.
And maybe since GuMiho knew that, he knew that Armani would overmake Lings in the early game, so he didn't need to commit it to Hellions. It's these tiny things that can really give you an edge in games like that.
Yeah, exactly. And just like that, GuMiho already has a 1-0 lead in this series. He only needs one more to close it out and move on to the next round. Oh boy, so my my hopes and prayers go out to Armani. You know, I at least hope we have a series out of this. I at least hope that we see a game 3. Oh boy, I just want to avoid the PvPs and TVTs. Okay, that's all I want.
Me too, like. Yeah, and interesting opening from GuMiho. He's going Marine first. Similar to the last game, but of course on this map there's so many more Overlord pillars. And you can see, even though Armani scouted for proxies, his Overlord is still going to be in a position to see Hellions if they move out. So we're not going to have a similar situation as last game. Armani's learned from his mistakes.
Yeah. He's going to be ready for any of that, if that were to come out. But at the same time, we know how Terran can be very diverse with their builds. Like, I doubt we're going to see the same thing 2 games in a row from GuMiho. As we see already, you know, this time he is making Hellions.
Yeah, and it looks like a very standard opening this time. Just off of a Marine first, which is a bit less common. Usually, if I see a Marine first, I'm more leaning towards a Hellbat attack, but since GuMiho has already switched off of Marine production, it's very unlikely for that to happen.
Okay, so again, maybe a little bit of mind games there as well. The fact that Armani knows that it was a Marine first, knows that there was no Reaper made. So again, just keeping him a little bit unawares of what he's doing.
Yeah, and we see a Viking first, and a tech lab on the barracks that isn't being used yet. Usually he would have probably started Stim, I think, if he was going into Bio, but yeah, we'll have to see what he uses that for.
We're going to see the famed mech play eventually here by GuMiho in this series. Part of me hopes so, part of me not so much, as he does.
Yeah, I
see
mean,
the switch.
You're gonna get your wish. The barracks has moved off the tech lab, and if there's no way that you're playing Bio and you get Stim to say, but the Hellions dive in, but one of them actually goes down. He's losing a lot of the Hellions here.
Yeah, nice target fire there by Armani. Picks off 2 Hellions immediately, almost a third. He does barely pick it off as well. And GuMiho is actually going for a Raven.
Yeah, so Viking into Raven, a very, very strange opening. With a fake cloak?
Is it fake? I don't...
Oh, and there's the armory.
Oh my god, let's go. So the army has been thrown down. We are going to be seeing a Hellbat push with that Raven. Okay, let's go.
Wow, is this going to be some crazy, like, Viking into Raven into Hyperflight mech?
We'll see. He's not a Banshee. He's going for it.
Wow. I've never seen Terran make 3 different units from the starport in a game.
We just need to live after this, okay? We just need.
Yeah, and then he goes into BC.
Yeah, exactly. That'll be the way to go. Meanwhile, some decent control here by Armani does lock all those Hellions away from his mineral line for the time being, but Armani is still in the dark. He still hasn't been able to see much at all, and because of the Viking, like, his overlords have been taken out.
Yeah, and the Raven comes in. He's going to plant an auto turret. We'll see if it gets much damage done. Looks like 1 drone is going to go down, but that's all the damage it's going to get. It's very interesting. Usually when you open Raven in this matchup, it's deny creep with the Hellions, but I guess noticing that he wants to use the auto turret to deny creep rather than fight the queens, he just sends it to deny the mining of Armani.
Yeah, just denying it. Oh my god, the Raven, no! Oh god! Oh. A little bit of miscontrol there. Raven does get picked off, so it will not be available here at all to clear up this creep. At the same time, Viking lands!
Whoa.
Oh my god!
I haven't seen that before. Oh, but the Banshee goes down for free. A bit of a miscontrol there from GuMiho, because he's got 4 different groups of units on the map.
Oh my god, exactly.
The Hellions come in!
The Evo Chamber wasn't thrown down in time!
5 drones already, 6 drones going down. 7 drones. Oh! Another 2 get picked off at the end there. 9 drones for 4 Hellions. Not a bad trade at all.
Oh my god.
Yeah. And behind this, GuMiho's been especially greedy. He actually made his 3rd base on location, and he's going into mech.
Yep, there we go. Mech is coming out. We do have 2 more factories being thrown down. I'm still just recovering from the fact that, likewise, I've never seen a Viking with that little ledge before. That was disgusting. Oh my god.
Yeah. This map is really annoying because often when Terran players play Bio, they'll drop a medevac full of Marines there, but I've never seen harassment that early from that ledge.
Oh god, exactly. Meanwhile, it looks like we are seeing some battle mech coming out here from GuMiho. We already have Macula accelerators on the way. But yeah, I mean, again, there was a lot of damage that could have been done here by GuMiho. So far, his Banshees haven't really paid for themselves. One of them already going down. The second one, not really finding too much damage either.
Yeah, and behind this, Armani's going into Roach Ravager, and he's just finished his Infestation Pit, so I'd probably assume he's going to make some Swarm Hosts here. Since he did scout the double gas at GuMiho's 30, he knows it's mech, and the Hellions come in again, but there's a few Lings in position. Is it going to be enough?
Oh, GuMiho doesn't want to go for it, not yet. He respects all of those Lings, so it does back off in the end. Does confirm that we have another 4th base on the way here for Armani. And I'm curious as well if he's going to go into those Swarm Hosts. There we go, 7 Swarm Hosts on the way.
Yeah, and he's still at a pretty low drone count, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see a huge commitment into Swarm Hosts. Yeah, 13 Swarm Hosts on the way. It looks like he might do a kind of timing with Mass Queen Swarm Host. It's interesting. I wonder if he assumes that GuMiho is going into Hyperflight, because one of the builds that's always been strong against Banshee Mech is a Queen Swarm Host timing. It's obviously shut down by BC counts, because you can't fight 3 BCs with any amount of Queens. You're just going to keep losing them. But against Banshee Mech, it could be super strong.
Yeah, exactly. We've seen... Oh, that's exactly what's happening as well. Hyperflight Rotors is on the way here for GuMiho.
Yeah, so this is looking really like a really good build for Armani, but the 4th base is getting taken down by the Banshees, and at the same time, GuMiho's pressuring with mech at the top.
Yeah, the Queens were completely out of position. They were a little bit too distracted by the battle mech, so it looks like this 4th base will go down. At the same time, the Swarm Hosts don't even care. They go for a counterattack.
Yeah, and this whole time, Armani's just been making Lings, Queens, and Swarm Hosts, so he doesn't really have the Roach count he wants to stop this small mech army, so this army's going to trade especially well, but the Locusts land at the 3rd base, and they're getting so much damage.
Oh, exactly. 7 SCVs go down, force to lift up on the 3rd base, but as you were saying, this small force dealt a decent amount of damage, but only traded with Army, wasn't able to break into any of the bases.
Yeah, but the Cyclone count is getting pretty big here, and Swarm Hosts really want to get lined up against a tank mech, not a active battle mech, so if GuMiho can trade well with these Cyclones, the Swarm Hosts are still on cooldown, maybe he can start to egg out an advantage.
Yeah, exactly. We have some decent lock-ons. A couple of Queens are getting picked off as well. It looks like GuMiho can't really get past this choke point, and the Swarm Host will be able to reset.
Yeah, and it looks like a lot of the Roaches and Ravagers are going down to the Cyclones. The Swarm Hosts are just trying to get into position, but they can't quite get close enough to unleash the Locusts.
Yeah, exactly. Finally, all the Hellbats have been cleaned up. At the same time, the Banshees are back, denying that 4th base. This time, the Queens are here, and they should be able to just barely force these Banshees away. And at the same time, the Locust Wave goes across the map again.
Yeah, and GuMiho's just completely given up this position. His mech army's going actually for a flank on the Swarm Hosts. He scans the Swarm Hosts. He sees they're all undefended. Can he get enough lock-ons?
Oh my god, and it looks like he may do so. There's no Nidus here to be able to get away, but oh god, the Roaches, they come in just in time.
Yeah, but he was still pretty good. He managed to take out 6 almost there, and the Banshees come because they know that the Queens are defending the 4th base.
Feels bad, man. The Queens, they rock up just in time, and they will be able to save some of these Locusts, but as you were saying, so many of the Swarm Hosts have already gone down.
Yeah, and GuMiho's trading so well with this mech army. The Roach Ravager's just running off creep, can't quite catch up to these Cyclones.
Boy, and in the end, the Roach Ravager army does fall. Armani is still doing what he can with these Locusts. I'm just concerned because the base count of GuMiho is getting a little bit scary. We're ending up on 4 base versus 4 base. Like, Armani, like, the denial of that 4th has hurt him so much.
Yeah, for the last few minutes here, I think that GuMiho's actually been out mining. Yeah. But the problem is that his trades haven't been exactly the best, but if you look at the supply, when you're playing Swarm Host, you want to be like 70 supply up over the mech in order to start trading. The supply is way closer than it should be.
Yeah, exactly. You could argue that maybe Armani should have tried like double expanding or something to try and catch up in the base count. And I'm just so concerned this hatchery is low from earlier, and the Cyclones, they can get a lock on.
Yeah, and looks like the base is going to go down, and Armani's going to be reset to 3 bases. That's a huge move.
Yeah.
At the same time, the Swarm Hosts unleash the Locust to the natural.
They do head towards the natural, and they're going to catch a couple of these reinforcements, but I don't know if too much significant damage is really going to be done here. He needs to try and take out a base. They actually are going straight for the natural base, though.
Yeah, and it looks like some of the workers are going to start falling as the Cyclones come in to deny the 4th base for what is probably the 6th time this game. And something really interesting is GuMiho actually made an orbital at his 4th base just so that he can lift off against the Locusts. Because usually you would see a planetary there.
Yeah. The big brain made the big brain. Armani is trying to expand now towards the north, but I think it may already be done. I mean, at least he still has a decent Swarm Host count, but he just doesn't have the economy, and the Swarm Host is getting caught out. No!
Yeah, they're going to have to get rid of their Locusts now. They're going to kill some Hellions with them, but GuMiho is just everywhere. Yeah, so interesting. Using the Banshees almost like BCs, he recognized that if he just tried to hold straight up against the Swarm Host, he would be in a lot of trouble, but since the Queens have to come with the Swarm Host to defend the Banshees, he knew he could just go kill the 4th base.
Yeah.
And then as soon as the Queens rotated to help the 4th base, the Banshees rotated to the Swarm Hosts.
Yeah, it's a really great way to take advantage of Hyperflight rotors and how fast Banshees can be. Again, it's something that you don't see too often, but it's great to see GuMiho experimenting or succeeding with mech like this.
Yeah, this really is the famed GuMiho style back in action.
Oh god, exactly. And now we've reached the point where again GuMiho is getting fully saturated on 4 bases. Armani still stuck on 3, still desperately trying. No, he's gonna be denied again. Just let him get a 4th base.
Seventh time the 4th has been cancelled. Oh my goodness. At the same time the Locust coming in, but you can really see GuMiho's so on top of his defense that when these Locust Wave comes in, he's only losing 5 or 6 workers, and the 3rd base is going to go down to Cyclones at the same time.
Yeah, the 3rd base gets picked off. Armani, he is knocked down to 2 hatcheries, and that is it. That's all he's got. He's still got a decent army, but again, he's essentially being forced all in at this point. He has to try and end the game.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to clean up this mech army in the middle, but I'm not sure if he's going to be able to do much damage on the other side.
Yeah, like he just needs I don't know if he can do so either. We have another reinforcing wave. There are just so many Cyclones, and they're going to be able to clean up all the Ravagers.
Yeah, no Queens here to stop the Banshees. The whole army of Armani falls, and GuMiho takes the supply lead.
Oof. GuMiho even feeling confident enough to take a ninja base here towards the bottom bottom left-hand side of the map, because why the hell not? It's one of those things where Armani still has a bunch of these Swarm Hosts, but he just hasn't really been able to do much with them at all, other than like maybe the first Locust Wave.
Yeah, this is just, it really makes a lot of sense what GuMiho's done here. Armani made the right calls, but it looks like he's going to start taking out all the Queens and Ravagers here with this small mech army. He's going to take out the 4th base for the 8th time. At the same time, we do have the Swarm Host, and as you were saying, because it was not a planetary, the 4th base just lifts up. It's perfectly fine. The boys are pulled away, and the Swarm Host, they get like 1 or 2 Cyclones, and that's it. Yeah, and he could have easily lost nothing, which really shows the benefits of making the 4th base into an orbital instead of a planetary versus Swarm Host.
Yeah.
Oh, and the Cyclones just A-move in. He knows that even if he takes bad trades here, it'll be good for him.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he took a bunch of blasts to the face, but he doesn't even care at this point. Armani's still stuck on 3 bases. It looks like he will find the ninja towards the bottom left, so he'll be able to deny some mining here, but again, like, this is just, it doesn't even matter. Like, GuMiho could lose all this, and it's still okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Armani still hasn't been able to secure a 4th base this whole time. GuMiho's got groups of mech everywhere.
Exactly, and I'm a little bit concerned about these Swarm Hosts. Okay, they will back off. I was concerned that they would maybe be caught out of position, but they are forced to kind of waste their Locust Wave here.
I mean, they get 1 Cyclone, which is pretty good, but I'm not sure if they'll get many more, and GG.
GG gets called. GuMiho will take the series 2-0, and he knocks out the Zerg Hope. That is it. I think Armani was the last one.
Yeah, it looks like it.
GG.
GG. Man, GuMiho, he looks so strong. Like, these builds are so well thought out, it's really scary.
Yeah, I think that's probably the most important thing to take note of here, is that other than the fact that his builds were very quirky and very iconic to GuMiho, is the fact that it did feel like there was a lot of thought put behind them in their execution as well.
Yeah, and it didn't even feel like Armani fell to the styles because he was, you know, a weaker Zerg maybe compared to your rogues or your darks, but I feel like given the situations, he played the right styles, but GuMiho knew which styles he was going to play, and because of that, he managed to get the advantages that he needed.
Yeah. He was in full control the entire series. It was crazy. It was crazy how he was in a way forcing Armani to respond the way he wanted to, and take full advantage of that. So GG, really well played by GuMiho, and he moves on to the semifinals.
Yeah, where he will be playing against the winner of Special and Razorblade.
Ooh. Yes, he will. I'm not too sure if that series has already ended. I don't see Raza logged in at the moment, so it's possible. We're just gonna have to wait for the admins to give us an update on that. But something very interesting has happened. Something that I didn't really expect to see. Zest did knock out True, but Zest is out of the tournament.
Yeah, he falls to Nightmare. That's a huge result for him.
Oh my god.
I've seen that he's been super high on the ladder for a while now, but that is definitely a big win.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing about that right now is that Zest was the big name in the upper half of the bracket, and now that he is gone, it's a little bit up in the air. It's really hard to predict between Nightmare, Prince, and Classic who has the best PvP and who is going to move on to the grand finals.
Yeah, have any of these players left actually won an Open Cup?
No.
So we're gonna get a new champion here regardless now that Zest is out.
Yeah,
that's pretty exciting.
I believe so. I'm gonna have to double check if Classic was able to win one recently. I don't think so. But yeah. From what I can tell, it was Hero who won one a couple of weeks ago, not
Yeah, that's
Classic.
right.